Hey everybody, it's Mary. Welcome to Mondays with Mary. How was everybody's weekend? Let me get this camera a little bit. There we go. I had a very busy, crafty weekend. I virtually attended the Spellbinders Weekender Retreat, which started on Friday evening and went till Sunday noon. As I think it's the first one that they've put on. I know it's the first one that I've attended. Haven't completed all my cards. Got a little confused at one point, and so when you're doing those retreats and they just keep going. Luckily, they're recorded so that you can go back and pick up. So it was fun. All right, so for those not familiar with Mondays with Mary, I use a random number generator to pick a number between 1 and 500, which is the number of cards in the color cubes. And we've got a real pretty one this time. We've got number 188. And it is some reds, boy. Some really deep reds, and very dark green, and they call this a mint, but it doesn't look minty to me. So they're using scarlet, auburn, burgundy, mint, and dark green. I am going to use cherry, sweet, ruby red, velvet, eucalyptus, and forest fern, all from the excuse me, Altenews fresh dye inks. So when I first saw the colors, I immediately thought of begonias. I've got begonias in my backyard, and they're just so pretty, and some of them are just so vivid, and their leaves are almost like a velvety. So I went through my stash and found, I knew I had a begonia somewhere. And I found the Frilly Begonia, and it's the Build-A-Garden. Let me make sure you can see this. It's the Build-A-Garden set, and the Build-A-Garden, I get it on a monthly subscription, and it always comes with a layering stencil and a stamp set. And a little mini blending brush, which I absolutely love these. If it's a small stamp set, it will come usually with a die set. If not, you have to wait a couple of months. But they come out with an add-on die, and so I do have the add-on die, which will cut this big flower separate from this smaller flower, and then the with love and the warm greetings, there's dies to cut those. So I have already stamped out the begonia, and I stamped it with a embossing pad, and then use gold embossing. I like the look of the embossed edge, especially when I'm working with darker colors. I just think it sets it off, and it just makes it look richer. It also, if you're going to do any watercoloring and stuff, it also kind of puts a little ridge there so that it kind of holds it in so it doesn't go all over the place. A little buffer. So I've got that going already. And so let me put these away. Let me get out my little turntable. Get this all lined up. You might have to go a little bit higher. This stamp is pretty large. I think I measured it at 6.5 from tip to tip, and then across almost 4.25. So it is pretty large, but I like that it has the full bloom and then it has the little one. But this one just has the full blossom. So, all right, so I've never used this one before, so I'm not familiar with the stencils. And you know, the Altenews stencils are wonderful, but sometimes you do have to play with them a little bit to get them to line up. They're always etched. 5-4, 3, 2, 1. So I am going to use the guide because we're just doing the one flower. So let me get the guide out. So let me know in comments what you did this weekend. The weather here was nice. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. All right, so the nice thing about all of Altenews products, generally the majority of them, is that they always have the pamphlet, and they always have ideas for you. And then they always show you exactly what colors for those projects that they've used. And then they show you the layout of the stencil. So it looks like we are not going to need stencil 4 or 5 because that is for the smaller flower. So we're going to put those aside. And then I'm going to put this over here just as a reference. And make sure that you can see good. Okay, let me move this over so it'll hold my ink pads. This is the Tim Holtz mat, and it's excellent for holding your ink pads still when you're blending. All right, so it looks like so 3 is going to be our leaves. 1 and 2 will be our colors, our reds. All right, so they're working at this angle. So this is the angle that we want to be at for an easier placement. And so I'm not sure if you can see, but it does have the line to separate. So this should be, let's see. This flower, is that right? Once you figure it out, and this is like, then it starts to become easier. Okay, we're gonna match this one up here. Nope. There we go. Almost there. You just have to just play with it ever so. All right. We're there. All right, so we are off the mat and on the sticky mat. So I'm going to get some tape. We're going to be able to do this flower down here too. So let me make sure this is going to be easy peasy. All right. All right, so you see how every one of these is open and lined up now. Okay. All right, so we are going to take the lightest, which is our cherry. Let me get my rag. And I'm just going to do a very light, as light as possible. Let me get this edge here. Is that, I don't want that to go anywhere. I'm going to go as light as possible, and you know that's not easy for me. Let me get some paper to dab off. Tap, tap, tap. All right. All right, we're going to go very light. So I want to get some light and darks in. And remember, you can always add, but you can't take away. Believe me, those are words to live by this weekend. I thought I was light-handed a couple of times, but I was not. But it all worked out. And, you know, nobody's ever going to know what it was supposed to look like. going in circles both ways. All right. So that's our layer 1. And we're still on the stencil because it's got 2 of each one. But before I move this, I want to go in. I think I'll go in with a little bit darker. I'm using velvet now. And I just want to get some extra color right there in the centers. Not a lot. All right. All right, so that's, let me wipe that off a little bit. Since we're going to move it over. Since we do have the die for this, I plan on cutting this off. But I don't necessarily want to be messy. All right. So now we're going to take this and we're going to shift it. And this should be these 2 petals right here. So we just have to, like we did before, just kind of finesse where it's supposed to be. On the top and the bottom. That looks good. All right, so we're going to tape off on the other side this time. Oh, wait, I just bumped it right there. See how it went off? Jennifer McGuire was participating. She didn't teach a class, but she always comes in sometimes on some of these at the end and then uses all the supplies and gives you ideas to make different cards with. So that's always fun. All right, I am going to, because this is open here and here, I am just going to save myself some grief. And I'm going to cover that up because I don't want all right, so there we go. All right, so we use the cherry sweet. Now we're going to use the ruby red, which is the next darker color. Maybe. There we go. I'm going to take the big brush. And I'm going a little bit darker, heavier handed, not heavy, heavy, but a little bit more pressure than I used on the last layer. Let me know in comments if you use the color cubes, or if you've heard of the color cubes. I'm going to do the same thing on this layer and add a little darkness. They're fun, and they are, you know, helping me think outside my comfort zone when it comes to colors. I think, was it last week we had all shades of gray. That was a real stretch for me. If you haven't watched it, it turned out pretty good, I thought. All right, we're adding that darker color again. Give it some depth. All right. All right, so that was our velvet. To be careful with this purple tape. It's usually pretty easy to take off, but I used it the other day in my die cut, and my machine has excuse me, hold on. My machine had a lot of pressure, and it really stuck to the cardstock. I wasn't using, you know, a really excellent, good cardstock, but it just ripped. Didn't rip the cardstock, but it took a layer off with it. I was not amused. All right. Oh, that's looking so pretty up against the gold. All right, so that is our first layer, or our first two layers. Now we're on to stencil number 2, and this is going to do the outside. See how the more you do, the easier it is to find where you're supposed to go with the stencil. The first one is always the hardest. Always the hardest. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so now I'm going to go in with a very light hand of velvet. I'm gonna, no, I'm far enough away. I should be okay. Fingers crossed. Famous last words. All right, here goes velvet. This is the darker. I can't wait to show you guys the cards that I've been making at these virtual events. Each one is so different, you know, the variety of cards and the techniques that you learn. And always fun. All right, I'm gonna lift this up because I want to make sure I've got enough contrast between the layers. So I'm just gonna lift up one edge. See if I need to go darker. I'm going to go just a tad darker. We made huge bicycles cards this weekend, and cocktail glasses. It was a kind of a vacation theme. All right, so now we're going to go in and really heavy hand. I'm not going to tap off, so I can get a lot of contrast right there, right there. Down there, here. You know, if you ever look at a flower, the inside, you know, the throaty part of the flower is always darker than the outside. So that's what we're trying to recreate here. This is very messy. Let's see if I can get that a little bit cleaned off. And then we got our last flower layer. See, I got a little bit of ink right there. It's a good thing I'm gonna clean it up. All right, so this one should be right there. All right. Tape that down there and here. All right, so we're gonna go in full with velvet. All right. And that's it for our reds. Very nice. What do you think? All right, so our next and last is our leaves. So this, all right, so we've got one leaf at the top and then the leaves down here. So this is this leaf right here. And then the other one must do the other ones. All right, so, whoop, I'm wearing tape on my arm. Hold on. Let me get these reds out of the way before they cause me problems. And I'm wearing those. Let me get the green out. And removed. All right, right there looks good. All right, I'm gonna go and use the eucalyptus on this one. Let me clean my brush off because I don't remember what I used last with it. All right, are we still good? We are still good, okay. Then I'm going to go in a little bit darker right at the base of the leaf with the same color. And then bring it up. All right. All right, so now we've got the rest of the leaves. Okay. Let me get that green off here before it gets on our red. This is lining up pretty good. All right. I've got, I'm going to tape this down. And then I definitely want to cover this up right here. And then I am going to go in with the eucalyptus on these centers right here. This part right there. And then this one. All right. And then I think I'm going to do eucalyptus on all of these, and then I'm going to do forest fern on top. In the retreat that I was at, they were talking about stencils. We used a stencil that did like rays of color, and that was interesting. Stencils have definitely made coloring easier for those of us who aren't very good or don't prefer not to color everything with markers. All right, so eucalyptus is done. Let's get this forest fern. Let me see how much darker forest fern is. I don't want to go in blind. We've gone too far now. Okay, it's pretty dark, so we're just going to use a little brush and not a lot. And then like we did before, just we can take a look and see if it's enough. We can always add more. All right, let me get the green brushes out of the way before I make a mess. And the reveal. Oh, it's getting dark in here. The sun's moving. All right, there we go. Isn't that pretty? What do you think? I just love that. And you know, after it always settles down a little bit, so it's going to look a little bit different when it kind of all settles in. I am going to get the dye. And cut this. All right, I'm gonna get my plates. And then we'll give this a cut and see what it looks like. I love having the dies because you know, if you've watched any of my videos, hold on, we're stuck. I am not a fussy cutter. We had a fussy cut this weekend, and it was like, it's like after all the coloring that I did, it's like, please don't let me make a mistake now. Don't let me get Wow, this die does not want to come out. All right. Wow. Put it in with some super strong tape. Just this one section. It's going to rip the... There we go. Whew. That wanted to fight. All right. So let's see. Got to get it lined up. I think that looks good. All right. I'm going to tape it, at least. I don't need it. I don't need it shifting at this time. I'm going to put this over it because this plate is just trashed. And I don't want any unnecessary marks on it. This die or this stamp set has some really nice sayings in it, but they're more, all of them say our best wishes or our, and I'm not an R, I'm a widow, so it's me, so it's not appropriate, so I will have to find something. You know, it says, I think it says sending our best wishes or whatever. So I'll find something more appropriate. Uh-oh. I forgot. I was putting this, I had this purple tape on here. Oh, Lord. All right, bear with me. I cannot have... See, it's taking the cardstock. It's a good thing it's not. All right. Okay, there we go. Whew. Crisis. All right. So, you know I like a pop of color. I like the dark. So, I am thinking of using, let's put the light on because we are losing the sun. There we go. I'm thinking that it'll be so pretty on black cardstock as a backing. Look at how that pops on there. And I'm not sure, I might, depending on the card, I might take this right here. See this? It's like a natural, and cut around here and have this here separate from here. So I could put like one up on the top corner. Picture this, A2. Have one up here and then the other one down here, or vice versa. No, that way. Anyway, something like that when I go to use it. So let's bring this down so you can see it better. So I really like that. Very, very much so. So I will let you know what I decide and show you the finished card And it looks like we're going to have to fussy cut right there because that's too much white for me. It will bother me. Everything else was fine. So, all right, so that's it. What was this called? Frilly Begonias. There's my, hold on. Here we go. Frilly Begonias. I think it turned out really nice. I like it. Like I said, I've never used this one before, and I think it turned out really nice. So you let me know what you think. And that's it. 188 is in the books. So, all right. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Thank you if you're a subscriber. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're thinking about it, you can hit that subscribe button. And then if you hit the bell, it'll send you a notification and let you know when there's a new video to watch. If you like the video, hit that like button. It really means a lot to YouTube and to YouTube creators. So we always appreciate that. And, oh, and if you missed the last video, I finally broke down and got a better press. So I will be doing more videos on that. I did the unboxing the other day. But I have to clean up my desk and find a spot where I can easily access it. So, all right, so that's it. Thanks for stopping by. Let me know in comments what you think. Let me know if you have this set from Altenews. If you have the color cubes, just leave me a comment. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.